Some people have expressed to me that they don't like older video games for a very specific reason. And I'll be honest, it's usually those who skew younger that have this opinion. But I've heard it from people of all ages and walks of life. These people enjoy having a goal or mission to accomplish in the games that they play. Whether it's completing the story of a particularly engaging game, or defeating other human players to prove they are superior, they have the need for some goal of some degree to feel that they aren't wasting their time. Or at least, that's my understanding. So to them, the games of the 2600, 5200, 7800, and even consoles up to the NES are just too archaic and directionless for them to enjoy. But I argue that they don't understand what the goal actually is in these games. There is an achievement to be had, and it can be quite rewarding to play these games. And I think this goal is lost to a lot of gamers today, because the quote arcade unquote mentality has been dead for a very long time in the West. So for today's video, I'd like to give a reason and a goal for people to accomplish on some of my favorite classic video games. And I'll even try to give away a few prizes to a lucky few who accomplish this goal. So sit back, relax, and let Uncle Pro Gamer tell you about High Scores, the original video game end goal. But first, we're trying to reach 5,200 subscribers to do our next giveaway. So if you're not subscribed, well, please do so, and hit the bell icon to be notified whenever we upload. And if you enjoyed this video by its end, maybe give it a like? I'd really appreciate it. Okay, on to the wide world of high scores. Accomplishing and breaking high scores isn't for everybody, that much is certain. But outside of outright competition, it has to be one of the earliest goals in gaming. In Pong, you wanted to get your ball past your opponent's paddle more times than they could do to you, thus increasing your score to a higher number. Scores have been in video games from the very early, formative years of the medium, and there's a good reason for that. It adds an element of not only competition, but also a way to track how good you are and how far you've come in learning the game. When you initially play, your scores will be low, and honestly, they'll be pretty easy to forget about. But eventually, you'll start racking up massive numbers, and you'll be telling your friends how you got over 100,000 points on Asteroids. This then gives those friends incentive to outdo you and dethrone your score. And this was the only goal in gaming for a very long time. Well, for a time anyway. Now for many people, having a high score will never be enough. Now that video games are more mainstream than ever, a lot of people want to engage in massive worlds with literally hundreds of stories to be told and unfolded as you play. They want to save the world from terrorists in Call of Duty, build massive structures and towers in Minecraft, and best their friends in multiplayer games like Fortnite. But there's something to be said for the raw, original thrill of achieving and breaking a high score. Have you ever seen your name on the high score table in a bustling arcade? Have you ever registered your username at the top of an online leaderboard? I dare say that this is a very different, but maybe even more rewarding achievement to obtain. It can be thrilling to have this experience. I never felt so accomplished as I did the first time I entered my initials into an arcade cabinet scoreboard. It felt glorious when I broke a record on Xbox Live and saw my name at number 1 all those years ago. Oh, yep, that should be the world record, guys. I think. Recently, friend of the channel and former podcast co-host, Vinny Vineyard, began bragging to me about all the Atari 7800 scores he's toppled over at Twin Galaxies, and I was thrilled for him. Oh, and before I forget, go subscribe to Vinny's channel, Big and Funky Productions. He's doing a top 100 Atari list that I helped him to develop, so show him some love and tell him how wrong the list is over there. Anyway, I was happy for him, but I realized how sad and pathetic most of the quote high scores unquote were over there. The score for water ski on the 7800 was clearly made by somebody who never even completed the game. Heck, I had already broken that score technically on an episode of Man vs. 7800. Some records had literally only 1 or 2 scores registered. For a console that was released in the mid-80s, on a website that has been around since the 90s, well, this just felt unacceptable. So I joined Vinny in trying to drive some competition to the website, and to the high score race. To this extent, live on stream back on November 3rd, I broke the record for Robert DeCrescenzo's excellent Asteroids Deluxe. And I really didn't even post that great of a score. Yet, I still feel a sense of accomplishment. As far as the written records go right now, I'm the best in the world at that game. Can you do better? Well, the record book says you haven't, so I don't believe you. Not until you post your own score. And that's the point of early video games and high scores in general, proving that you're better than the previous champion, and driving the scores ever higher. You want to prove that your skill is superior, and that all the time and money you've spent in achieving this wasn't wasted. The whole goal is to become the best at something. Heck, the movie King of Kong was all about this very idea, and it actually used the Twin Galaxies website to track the scores. Now, there was some controversy that followed that movie, but this is neither here nor there. And Twin Galaxies has since moved into different hands, so I feel they deserve a fresh start as well. I encourage all of you to try playing a high score game with the intent of putting your name on the top of the high score table. If you've never done it before, then it's a gaming experience and achievement that you need to have. There's something so pure and awesome about having your initials or a username immortalized at the top of the world's best. And it probably won't stay there forever, honestly, but you can still have pride knowing that for a time, you were the best in the world. I personally loved that experience, and plan on breaking a bunch more records on Twin Galaxies. I know Vinny plans on doing this as well. But I want these high score lists to be fleshed out, so that this all means something a little bit more. So here's what I would like to do with all of you, the community of awesome and classy Atarians here on the channel. Let's do a sort of high score challenge on the Atari 7800 to wrap up this awesome year on the Atari Network. So, again, here's what I want you to do. Sign up on the Atari Network Discord, and we'll have a forum for high score challenge stuff only. There, we'll be collecting scores for 3 Atari 7800 games: Dark Chambers, Asteroids, and Food Fight. The person who posts the highest score for each game will win an exclusive, one-of-a-kind Atari Network Atari 7800 trophy cart, with the Atari Network demo on the ROM, and an etched label from OG Hugo. Now, the prize design is pending and may differ from what's shown here, legal jargon, blah blah blah, see the description below. So you will need proof of your high score for each game, and you might find that you break the Twin Galaxies scores and will want to post them there as well. The games must be set and left at default settings when you boot up the console. The contest will run for exactly 1 month, and the winners will be announced in a video thereafter. I will have my own personal best scores for each game posted, so you can see if you can best the 7800 Pro gamer or not. You won't get any prizes unless you're the top dog in each category, but if you beat my score, well, at least you can rub my face in it. Just like Vinny does. There will be more on the high score challenge below, down in the description, but let's wrap things up in this video. I think that high scores are somewhat forgotten about in today's day and age, and that's, well, a little disheartening. I personally really enjoy breaking my personal bests and scores. But things have evolved and changed, and the gaming industry moves forward just like everything else does. But there is room in this world for a high score challenge. Heck, a lot of the most addictive and fun mobile games have no real true ending. You just get further and further in the game with the challenge ramping up and your score ever increasing. Now, games today might not have an emphasis on being the best, but it's always there. And chasing high scores makes this stuff less of a waste of time. It gives you something to be proud of. I'm not saying that video games are a waste of time, by the way. Anything that helps us to escape and have a little fun is absolutely worth it. But high scores add an achievement to this stuff. It gives us, again, something to be proud of and happy about. So get out there, break some high scores, and let's fill out these tables on Twin Galaxies and other websites. Let's flex our gaming muscles to the rest of the world. And who knows, you might be the next great pro gamer.
88,000, so we almost doubled it, guys. There's world record number 1 in the books. All we have.
But now I want to hear what you guys think. Do you personally play games to break high scores? Have you ever been number 1 or in the top player list for any game before? Is there any other websites besides Twin Galaxies that you use to track high scores? And do you think there's room in the world for games all about chasing high scores? Let me know about all this and more in the comments down below. And please consider becoming a Patreon if you enjoy the content, or even a YouTube member. You'll get exclusive content, videos, audios, and even early access to videos before everybody else. thank you to these classy Atarians for choosing to support us. I couldn't do all this without all of your help. And please check us out on social media. We have a Facebook again, sorry I nuked the last page, Instagram, and we have a Twitter. And don't forget the Discord server. You'll want to be on that for sure. And finally, check out my live streams every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I play anything and everything Atari, and the community and online chatters are just incredible over there. Okay guys, that's it for this one. I've been the 7800 Pro Gamer, a guy who used to hold the high score in Burger King's Pocket Bike Racer, and no, I'm not kidding, and I'd like to thank you all for watching. And remember to stay classy, Atarians.